then we went back to Dubai, and then I really started to paint on a daily basis. And then I had an exhibition at the Dubai World Trade Center where Sheikh Mohammed was there, so he saw my work.
Welcome to the Origin podcast. Today we're meeting Cerise Washington, a famous artist in London. She's going to tell us about her story and her journey. Hi Cerise, and welcome on our Origin podcast. Is it your first podcast?
It is my third podcast. So first podcast, so slightly nervous. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's our first time coming to London, and it's a pleasure to meet you. And we are lucky. It's sunny.
Exactly. It's not too cold. It's a little bit sunny, so it's okay. So welcome to London.
Yeah, thanks. So today we're going to speak about your journey, your story. What do you do today? What's special things you have to say to us?
Yeah.
So I think we're going to start by talking about you and who you are. What's your name? What do you do? Can you present yourself?
So my name's Cerise Washington. I'm originally from the north of England, but I've been living in London for 7 years. I'm English Irish, and a little bit of Irish in there. And but I've been living abroad for a very long time in the Middle East for 20 years. And I came back in 2017 to Wimbledon, so now fully immersed in London life.
You don't have the accent though of the Northern.
Oh, no. I think it's just many years of being abroad. I think mixing with people in Dubai of the expat community, I've lost that northern accent. So I should keep it because that's part of me, and I'm very proud of where I've come from and where I'm from. But when I first moved to Dubai, when I started working there, people really didn't understand me, and they said to me, Cerise, you really need to slow down. We don't understand you. And eventually I lost the northern accent. I think it's just when you're on a international stage, you just lose it eventually.
Yeah.
But I think I do have the odd word there that's still quite northern.
So you traveled a lot. You went to a lot of countries. Can you tell us a bit more about that? So how did you come to move from England?
Yeah, so I finished university in Manchester, and I was doing graphic design advertising, and then I got a job in Manchester, but my father was the one that was working abroad all the time, and he was an engineer. So through him, he said to me, he says, why don't you come for a holiday in Dubai? And that was in 1998. And some people hadn't even heard of Dubai. And my family was like, but Dubai, where's Dubai?
It's not as famous as now.
Yeah. It was it was very, very quiet. And so I went for a 2-week holiday, and that was in 1998. And then I came back to the UK, and I said, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm leaving my job, and that was it. And I
what
went
was
back.
your job at
A graphic designer.
You were a graphic designer.
Yeah, so originally a graphic designer and art director, and then I just knew that Dubai was on a scale where it was growing at such a rapid rate, and I love the fact that there were so many nationalities there.
Yeah.
And that was really appealing to me. Plus, I'll tell you what really happened. So when I was working in the UK, obviously driving in the dark in the morning and coming home at nighttime, and I used to get letters from my father, and every weekend he was by the beach, and he was sipping cocktails, and I thought, something is not right, and I want a piece of that. So that's basically how it happened. Yeah.
So you moved to Dubai.
Yeah.
And what happened? Did you get a job there?
Yeah, I pretty much got a job pretty quickly. My father was an engineer on the Emirates Towers Hotel in Sheikh Zayed Road, and I worked in advertising there for quite some time.
Advertising?
Yeah, with Orbit Showtime Network, which is equivalent to like Sky TV here. And so I was art director there for quite some time, and then I was with another advertising agency, Ogilvy, as a designer, and then I got married and I had children, so I had like my time out there of raising my children, and that was I married a Lebanese man, so I was going backwards and forwards to Lebanon, and that's when we obviously had children. So took time out there out of my career.
So your career was all around art and
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I always loved interior design and art and fine art, and even film and TV. I was always interested in. I always wanted to work in TV, but on the graphics side. So that's why when I was at Orbit Showtime Network, I did get to see a lot of the production side of it as well. And then when I was at uni, I got placement at BBC North. So TV and film and the arts was always my thing. Yeah. But Dubai was, when I was there, and you could see this, it was just evolving so much. And now, I mean, it's unrecognizable. I don't know if I go back there to live. I don't know whether I'd like it. It's
when did you move from Dubai?
2017.
So you stayed a long time there.
Yeah, from 1999 to 2017. But then in that time, I was living in Beirut as well for 3 years. So, and that's pretty much where I kind of started my painting again, was in Lebanon.
So you started painting when you were in the...
Yeah, it was I've always kind of painted since I was 14, but a lot of people said to me, it's so hard to make it as an artist, why don't you go into advertising where it pays better? So that's the route where I went, because I thought, okay, maybe it's more money in there. But art was always part of me, and I was always painting on the side, and then I was doing a lot of portraiture for people, so I did portraits.
Do you still have them?
Yeah. So I did that. So then obviously when I had my children, I started to start painting at home in Lebanon. And I was living by the coast, but right by the Mediterranean Sea. And then obviously with all the nice light and the colours of the sky and the sea and everything and the mountains, that's when it started to really start coming about, my paintings.
And what age were you at this moment?
I think it was about 32, something like that.
So you started really painting at 32?
Yeah, I started a lot more painting there in Lebanon, and then and then obviously there was quite a few with the trouble in Lebanon. There was quite a few suicide bombs, so we decided to go back to Dubai because it wasn't really safe. So that was an experience, but Lebanon itself is a beautiful country and we really enjoyed it. But so obviously with the situation, it's not very safe at the moment. Then we went back to Dubai, and then I really started to paint on a daily basis. And then I had an exhibition at the Dubai World Trade Center where Sheikh Mohammed was there. So he saw my work. And then it really started to kick off really from then, to be honest with you. And I knew that being an artist was what I wanted to do full time, not really in the graphic design industry. And then I started to get commissions from people in Dubai, portraiture, and then after 2 years I left there and then moved to London. So it's been a whirlwind of moving about.
So you moved from Dubai for what reason?
Well, I always knew that London was a place, was the epicenter of the art world. And I knew that to really focus on an art career, that London was really the place to be, especially being British as well. And so when we moved back, I took myself to Christie's Education, and I started to do a lot of art history there on the side of painting. And with networking in London, which I like to do, I got into the super yacht industry. Through meeting certain people, and that's taken me working with not really yacht designers, but I should say within the super yacht community, where, let's say for example, a few weeks ago at the Super Yacht Charities Ball, they auctioned one of my paintings. So that sold a couple of weeks ago, which was a super yacht painting. So it's a new line of work that I'm going into.
Did one day when you were small, did you think you could live from your art one day?
Yeah, I always kind of knew eventually that I would do. I always knew that because I knew graphic design really wasn't, really for me. But I diversify quite a lot. I'm very interested in film and TV. I love my art, and I work a lot with interior designers. So yeah, it's and plus I work a few days in property.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, and that really helps as well, because that is there's a lot of interior design involved in that as well, with properties. So it works well.
I'm not really like familiar with art and but what sort of paintings do you paint?
So now I paint a lot of abstract impressionistic work.
Okay.
I do also like to paint a lot more nautical scenes, because of my interest in sailing and yachts. But I have been commissioned by interior designers to suit the style of their interiors. So say, for example, one of the big commissions that I had was in Covent Garden, and that was by an American client. So I don't even really know who he was, to be honest, because I had to sign an NDA. So that was one of her, that was a really...
And what was the, like, I don't know if you can say it, but about the amounts of money you get for a painting like that?
Yeah. Oh, you want to know how much I got? Well, it was an American client, and they like to pay a lot more. So, I mean, pretty much, 3 paintings. I mean, like roughly, 10,000-12,000 pounds.
Wow.
And that was basically done in a month. I was on a very tight time scale, because the interior designer needed to finish the job, quite quickly, and the family were moving in. So I had to actually move studios because the canvas was too big for where I originally was. So I had to find a new studio to accommodate this canvas, which was huge.
Wow.
1.2 meter, I think, and it didn't fit in my original studio. So I had to move studios just for this commission. So
what do you paint the most? Is it mostly the paintings that these people ask? That these people ask, or paintings that you paint and then that you...
So I mean, it's both. So I mean, I paint a lot of nautical scenes from countries that I've been to, and I make it abstract impressionistic style. But I'm also moving into sailing and also the super yacht industry. I really did enjoy painting the super yacht for the Charities Ball. But a lot of the pieces, I would say one of my favorite artists is Turner, and I love the way that he has his the warmth of his style, and the light. So I think a lot of the influence is from his work. So that's how I'm integrating it now into my own style. And the painting that I just did for the super yacht community, that was a very new thing for me, because I'm like painting something that's quite impressionistic from the old times, like Turner did, but incorporating with new technology as a super yacht. So that was really interesting to do. So I'm really pleased that it sold for auction. It was really good. But with that, I move into silk scarves. So I produce silk scarves from my art as well. And one of my first orders for the scarves were from a super yacht charter group. Wow. So that turned out really good. Yeah. I feel like I'm doing too much talking.
I have a question. When you were little, did you always have a talent, like, painting or drawing?
Yes.
Or did you learn?
My mom said I always had a talent. She says you're really talented. And then obviously at school,
people used to say.
And then when I was 14, my mom and dad sent me to an adult. The teacher said, I think you belong in an adult class for oil painting, and that's how I started. So it's always evolved from there. But I'm the happiest in the studio. I can spend hours and hours in a studio all day, and be very, very happy painting. But at the same time, I like working as a team. So, working with interior designers on a commission, I like as well. So, it works both ways.
So how are your days actually? If you could tell me, like, yesterday, what did you do actually as an artist?
So I diversify. I'm doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I mean, art is number one. I work in property a few days a week. I'm also designing silk scarves, so I'm very much involved with the China market. And also, I've just had an audition for ITV for a casting for something. And I really do enjoy working as a supporting artist in film.
Yeah.
So I did that a couple of months ago. But living in London, it enables you to do that. There's so much.
Is it the network in London you're talking about?
Yeah, it's very important to network.
Yeah.
Network is your net worth. Very, very important.
Especially as an artist.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's important to go to social gatherings in London. Very, very important. But I need to tap into more of the Dubai and Saudi market again, because I've been based in London for a long time.
Yeah. Recently, you've joined the Galileo marketplace.
Yes.
And like the Web3 and blockchain space. How did you come to that?
I from what I remember, I received an email being invited to join the platform.
Yeah.
And
how long ago was that?
I think that was maybe 3-4 months ago or 6 months ago, I think. So I mean, blockchain. It's quite a new platform for me, but I'm very excited for my work to be on this new platform. It's the future.
Yeah.
It's the digital future.
Did you know about blockchain before?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, I'm involved in crypto.
In crypto,
so I know a little bit about that.
Maybe was that from Dubai or?
No, that's for being in London. That's
really?
with contacts.
Contacts.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in this sector?
In the crypto?
Yeah, in the crypto. Yeah.
It's people I know.
People you know.
Yeah, and
so they told you about it.
Yeah, and they're advising, how to make money as well on the side. So I've tried. So let's see, how that works. But yeah, it's really interesting to have my art on the blockchain. It's the way we're going now in the future. I suppose if I was 20, I wish I was 20. I was supposed to be really, really into it,
We were talking about blockchain. What benefits do you see from having your art as an artist on the blockchain, and what do you see the benefits of blockchain?
Basically, I see it as everything before was on paper, and this is traditionally how we worked, and now. We are becoming more digital, and to have that artwork and my silk scarves on a digital format, that really does appeal to me, and I'm quite excited to take that, forward and see where it goes. And I do believe there's going to be a lot of success through that. Yeah. I've got a lot of, I think it's going to work really, really well.
I have a question. Do you do many exhibitions about your art, or you spend most of your time in the studio painting and then selling it to clients?
So I've got a potential exhibition that's coming up in the summertime at a London gallery, but it's not
at the London gallery?
in a London gallery.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't say which gallery it is yet, but it's a central London gallery.
Okay.
But it's not just my work. I'm organising it under Washington Fine Art, and I'm bringing in 4 other very well-known artists, including myself, within this gallery. The gallery is quite big, and it's got 3-4 floors, so it needs to accommodate, more artists in there as well. So I'm organising the artists from around the country, also for this London gallery in the summertime. So we're finalising that at the moment. So. There's artists in Lancashire, where I'm from, which is really good to bring the northern artists down to London. So that's something quite exciting. I didn't think that as an artist, I'd be organising other artists to come together. A lot of people think I'm a gallery. I've got a lot of people coming to me, saying, "Would you like my art?" And I'm not actually a gallery. I'm an artist.
Yeah, you're an artist, and you were talking about Washington Fine Art. It's your company. Can you talk about your company a little bit?
Yeah, so basically, it's been running for about 4 years. I work with interior designers, but I think what is really successful is the abstract impressionistic work that's becoming really, really popular. And the silk scarves is a side part of it, which I want to take to China and the Middle Eastern market. But I think with everything that I'm doing, it's quite difficult because I do everything. I do social media, I do the marketing, I've done my website. So yeah, I'm very, very busy.
So you decided to create this company 4 years ago to sell your art.
Yes.
That's
yes,
the objective.
I needed a brand. I needed something to present. So I did all the marketing, the social media myself, and it's just taken off from there, really. My first studio was at Wimbledon Art Studios, and I, after the second fair that they had, I realized that I had some good success and I wanted to have my own studio, and I just took it from there, really. So yeah.
Do you see actually yourself as a well-known artist in London?
And yeah, it's becoming really good. It's really getting there. I mean, there's a lot more podcasts, interviews. There's been a lot of magazine articles written about me as well. I'm part of the Global Woman Club in London, and that's all about empowering women in business, which is that's really helped me. Because sometimes as women, we have a lot of doubts that we can't do things, or fears, or we lack confidence. And joining the Global Woman Club, that's very empowering. And their motto is, give a woman a microphone and she will succeed in life.
So how long have you been in this club for?
So the global, I per se a couple of years, and that's through that's how I met Charlotte Kirk, who's one of the actresses here in London. And I did one of her portraits for her. So yeah, it's all about networking, very much so.
So what this have a few questions about the club. What does this club do actually?
So it was formed by a lady called Mirella Sula.
Okay.
And she formed the club maybe about 9-10 years ago. But her story is phenomenal, and I really admire that lady because of her story. She came here to the UK with her son with very little money, and she's built a global empire. And Global Woman is all over the world, and it's for women in business. So every woman that's part of the club, whether they're an artist, interior designer, building their own company, it really empowers women to believe that they can be a success.
That you share all your stories together.
Yeah, definitely. There's meetups, and you can go to. It doesn't have to be London. You can go to Dubai, LA, Paris. It's everywhere. But it's a really good community in London, and it's really helped me in networking and believing that you can be a success. It's really, really good. I mean, it's really hard to be an artist. There's so much competition, and especially as for women, because for art, years ago, it was always male artists. You think 100, 200 years ago, you never really heard of a woman artist. But now you've got the likes of Tracy Emin, and so it's difficult. So, we need to keep pushing as women.
As an artist, so your biggest hobby is obviously being in your studio and painting. Yeah. But I have a question. Do you have any other hobbies, things that you like to do when you're at your house, or anything? Beside painting?
Yeah, sailing. I would say sailing. I'm a sailor.
Sailing?
Yeah. So sailing definitely. About 2-3 years ago, my partner and I, we chartered a yacht from Athens, Greece, and we went around the Greek islands.
Wow.
And
Mamma mia.
Yeah, and that wasn't part of a float. We were just completely alone, So that was an experience to go sailing. So that's one of my passions, and that is obviously part of my art. So I integrate that passion.
You paint.
Yeah. So I like
nautical. And
and that goes into the silk scarves. So I like to produce a lot of nautical work for the silk scarves, and then obviously put that into the super yacht community. for their, whether it's a charter for their guests. So yeah, my first order was for a super yacht charter, so that was really, really good.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it was exciting.
As an artist, you've seen the art evolving in the years, and it's still evolving today. Especially, I want to talk about AI, because today now you can generate easily lots of beautiful pictures on internet with the AI in a few seconds.
Yeah.
How do you see this art evolving? Maybe how is human going to work with AI? How are they going to work together? Is it going to be a competition? What do you think about it?
I think seriously a competition. I mean, definitely. I mean, for artists that physically work with the canvas and the brush, and they can put many, many hours into that work on a canvas, where then you can go online and create something artificially. It's competition. I don't know whether I like it. I'm not sure I like the way it's going. But I suppose maybe for the younger generation, I don't know, maybe it's good. But I do see it as a competition.
Do you think there's a different value between these two sort of arts?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't. I've actually, tried to experiment with creating, work with AI, and you can. It's good, but for me, I'm the traditional artist. I like to create something that's traditional, that's been made by the hand, and this is how I've been taught. In my younger days. So to go on a computer and start creating something of a landscape that's artificially enhanced, I do see it as maybe cheating. Maybe. Yeah, that's my honest opinion. I do, because I come from that traditional set of teaching. Of
And do you think it's the major faults of like every artist? Do you think they all think the same, or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Damien Hirst is there, sitting behind his computer saying, okay, I'm going to create some design. It's everybody. It's paintbrush. It's by the hand, and it's that feeling and the passion that goes into a painting, with the emotions. So I don't really feel you get that on a computer. I mean, I'm originally a graphic designer, so I'm used to designing things on the computer, and that's why I went away from it, because I felt my real passion was using my hands painting. So for me, it depends. It depends what you want to use it for.
Well, thank you very much, Cerise, for having you today. It was a pleasure for me. You have a beautiful smile, and it was a lovely story. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Have a nice day.
Thank you.